It's a great day, sports world. What's up to all the sports lovers, haters, addicts, and fanatics out there? This is Larry Patterson coming to you for GT365. That's Game Time 365 Sports. Live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. We're here to talk about Detroit Lions today. 32 teams in 32 days. This team started 1-3 last year. Ended the season on a 4-game losing streak. Before the season was over, they fired head coach Matt Patricia. He's back in New England as a senior advisor. And then they hired Dan Campbell, who was a former assistant coach, tight ends coach for the New Orleans Saints. So then they also fired GM Bob Quinn. And then they bring in GM Brad Holmes, who I think is from the Rams organization. He was with them during the days of St. Louis. So then you bring in offensive coordinator Anthony Lynn, who was a former Chargers coach, and he had a pretty good offense there. It just couldn't finish games. And then you bring in Aaron Glenn, who was a former defensive player himself, defensive back. And he was a position coach somewhere, but now he's a defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, helping getting those guys somewhere where they need, somewhere they haven't been in a number of years. They haven't had a good pass rush in a few years. They haven't had a good back end in the defense, corner. They had Darius Slay, but even when they had Darius Slay, that defense was still not where it wanted to be. So for the past several years, even in Calvin Johnson days, this team has always been more of an offensive front. Defense did not exist, and hopefully this year it will change. This team last year on offense was ranked 10th, over 4,000 yards. Over 4,000 yards in the pass. And they were ranked 30th, I believe, in the run with only like 1,400 yards accumulating. Defensively, they were just worse, bottom of the barrel, bottom of the league. They were 30th against the pass, and they were 28th against the run. So that the motive for this offseason should be defense. But if you just focus on that, then what are you going to do with the offense? So they traded Matthew Stafford, which it was about due. I think it was a mutual interest. Get him out of Detroit. He's not winning anything there. Put him in a winning environment in LA. In return, you get Jared Goff, who is a former Super Bowl quarterback, thanks to the defense, but he also did his part because in 2019, at some point during that season, he was an MVP candidate. So now bringing Jared Goff, whole new scenery. On third downs last year, this team offensively ranked 15th, and special thanks to Matthew Stafford for the number of years he's helped do that. Defensively, they were 28th. Fourth downs, offensively, they were ranked 24th. Defensively, they were ranked 22nd. And in the red zone, they were a top 10 offense in the red zone. They were number 9. Defensively, they were 21st. So the big thing with them this year is defense. You definitely, and they got potential. You definitely want to get pass rush and get back in straight, and I think they're headed in the right direction. Matthew Stafford, 45,109 yards, 280 touchdowns. He closed out his career in Detroit that way, 45,000 yards. That is crazy. 5,000-yard season. I want to say that was like 2011, 2012, something like that, and 7 4,000-yard season. So he's was slinging the rock since he'd been there. Many different weapons and all kind of stuff. And now he's going in a different environment. And we'll cover him when we get to 32 teams in 32 days. Los Angeles Rams. Key departures for this Detroit Lions team: Matthew Stafford, of course. Kenny Galladay, who was the big go up and throw it up, go up and get it guy, the big threat. He's gone to New York now. Marvin Jones, who without Galladay in, Marvin Jones was the top target. Over 970 yards was accumulated for Marvin Jones. I want to say 9 touchdowns. So when Galladay went out, he was the focal point, basically. And now he's gone. He went to Jacksonville. Jamal Agnew, a return specialist, he went to Jacksonville. Chase Daniels is a backup quarterback. He went. I want to say he went to the Chargers. I want to say Adrian Peterson is not in the league, even though he should be. Adrian Peterson had over 600 yards for this team last year. I want to say 6. I want to say 7 or 8 or 9 touchdowns for AP. And I believe if he was still on the team this year, to this day, I think he would definitely help a number of teams out. Danny Amendola, who's not in the league right now. Jesse James, who's in Chicago. Matt Prater, the kicker. They got Matt Prater out of there. He was there for a number of years. He's currently in Arizona, I want to say. Jaron Kearse, he's with Dallas. Christian Jones went to Chicago. Desmond Trufant went to Chicago. Justin Coleman went to Miami. Danny Shelton went to New York. So a lot of these guys that was in this organization, within this organization, left the organization, came back, and decided to go elsewhere. Key additions for this team: Jared Goff, of course, Alex Anzalone from New Orleans, Damian Radley from Cleveland, Rashad Perriman. He's been kind of an injury bug throughout his whole career, and hopefully he can come in this environment and do some things. Tim Boyle's a career backup. Randy Bullock, who struggled some last year in Cincinnati, is now in Detroit. Randy Bullock kind of let some games go after missing some attempts to win some games, tie some games up. But Detroit trusted him enough to give him a job, and hopefully he can revitalize his career up there in Detroit. Charles Harris, defensive end. Jamal Williams, a running back from Green Bay. He can catch. He can do a lot of things. Sean Dion Hamilton, Khalif Raymond, another return specialist. Dean Marlowe, a safety from Buffalo, pretty good. Zane Gonzalez. So they're giving Matt Prater some kind of competition over there. Not Matt Prater. They're giving Randy Bullock some kind of competition over there, just in case things don't go the way that they plan. So Zane Gonzalez is over there. I'm pretty sure they won't go into the season with 2 kickers on the team, but I've seen it done before. Michael Brockers, who was also involved in a trade with Detroit. Funny thing is, Michael Brockers said that I don't know if he sent out a tweet or if he said something, but he was basically saying that Matthew Stafford was way better than Jared Goff. And I mean, he's not wrong for saying that. But the funny thing is, he thought that Matthew Stafford was going to be his quarterback now, only to get shipped to Detroit, and now Jared Goff is still your quarterback. So that I know there had to been some kind of weirdness there. Tyrell Williams coming over from the Raiders. He had some kind of injury last year. I want to say it was the Raiders. He had some kind of injury last year to kind of end his season a little early. But Detroit took a chance on him, and now he's back. Well, he's over there. Corn Elder, cornerback, depth. Basically, Darren Fells, who did his thing in Houston, he's over at Detroit now. And then a late signing, Nickel Roby-Coleman, who was a pretty solid DB, so he could definitely help out with what they got going on. Speaking of that run game, man, as I said, Adrian Peterson had 156 attempts for 604 yards, 7 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift, 114 carries for 521 yards, and he played 13 games. He started 4. So he missed a little bit of time, and hopefully that'll get better. Um, and we're gonna go over the roster real quick. At the quarterback position, David Blau going into his third year. Tim Boyle coming over in his fourth year. Jordan Tamu, who was in the XFL, he balled in the XFL for a year before they shut down. At the running back position, Jamar Jefferson, Dedrick Mills, got Craig Reynolds, who had a touchdown last week in a preseason game against Buffalo. He ran pretty angry, so I know they're pretty much looking at him to maybe join the final 53. Javon Leake, Godwin Ekwabuki, and DeAndre Swift going into his second year. So that is your Jamal Williams going to his fifth year, and then Jason Kabinda, who's the fullback, going to his third year. At the wide receiver position, Geronimo Allison coming over from Green Bay, Victor Bolden going to his third year, Tom Kennedy, who's been very flashy at camp, from what I hear. Darius Jennings going to his fifth year. Javon McKinley is a rookie. Brashad Perriman going to his seventh year. Hopefully he can stay healthy. Damian Radley coming over from Cleveland. Khalif Raymond coming over from Tennessee, who definitely you can put him in the slot. You can use him for gadget plays, reverse and such. But mostly he's probably going to be used in punt returns, kick returns, which, he's pretty good at that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a rookie, he's definitely going to be something to watch. Sage Surratt is also a rookie. Tyrell Williams going to his seventh year. And a player that I am going to be watching this year, so just putting it out there before you see the post, Quintez Cephas, who flashed a little bit last year. He had like 300-something yards in place of Kenny Galladay. It was a sample size, but it was enough to say, you know what, this guy going into his second season, he should be pretty good. He should be pretty good. He had 35 targets, 20 catches, 349 yards, 2 touchdowns. So it was a sample size, but 349 yards off 20 catches, that's not bad, especially for a rookie and you got guys in front of you. So this year can only mean so much better for the kid, and I hope Jared Goff can really find him. Only 2 receivers on this team last year that had over 100 targets, and that was Marvin Jones, in which he's not with them no more, 115 targets, and T.J. Hawkinson, who had 101 targets. Speaking of tight ends, I'm just going to go ahead and get that on out the way. T.J. Hawkinson going into his third year, and I think he's going to have a big breakout year. I hope him and Goff have some kind of connection. Hunter Bryant, who kind of flashed a little bit last year in his second season, especially on like run plays, blocking and stuff like that. Darren Fells coming over in his 8th season, the vet. They need vet help like that. Alize Mack, Charlie Tamopu, and Brock Wright, who's a rookie. That's your tight end group. Offensive line, which in pass protection, I think is probably one of the best in the NFL, probably top 10. Run blocking, not so much, but pass protection, they can definitely pass protect. Evan Brown going to his third year. Evan Bone going to his 5th year. Drake Jackson is a rookie. Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in the league, stepping to his 4th year. Evan Heen going to he's a rookie. Jonah Jackson going to his 2nd year. Tommy Kramer is a rookie. Logan Stenberg going to his 2nd year. Taylor Decker, one of the best tackles in the league, going to his 6th year. Tyrell Crosby going to his 4th year. Matt Nelson, Darren Paulo, Penei Sewell, who was just drafted this year, and they got a lot of big things expected for him. He kind of struggled a little bit against defenders in his first preseason game, but it can only make him better. I think he'll be all right in this league. Dan Skipper, who's going to his 3rd year, and Halapovati Vaitai going to his 6th year. He's a former Eagle. I want to say he won the Super Bowl. I want to say he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, but he was with Detroit last year. He's stepping into his second season with Detroit. As defensively, the spot that these guys need the most, starting with the defensive line. You got Deshaun Hand going to his 4th year and expecting some big things out of him. I'm pretty sure he's going to a contract year. Joel Heath going to his 5th year. And then you got Jayshawn Cornell going to his 2nd year. Trey Flowers, Charles Harris, Robert McCray, Julian Okwor, Romeo Okwor. Romeo Okwor had 10 sacks last year. So that was your only double-digit guy, and it was nowhere near nobody close to that. Everson Griffin had 3.5 sacks, and he was traded. I want to say he was traded to Detroit, but he only had 3.5 sacks for the whole year. Nobody came close to Romeo Okwor, which is the reason why he got the contract that he did. Well deserved. You also got Michael Brockers coming over. He had 5 sacks last year. Aleem McNeil, who's a rookie. Levi Onwuzurike going to his rookie year. John Pennicini is going to his 2nd year. Miles Brown going to his 3rd year. Kevin Strong, and then Nick Williams and PJ Johnson. That lines out your defensive line. Linebackers, you got Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, who's a rookie, who should do very well. Javante Beckett, who's a rookie. Jamie Collins going to his 9th year. Jamie Collins could have had the opportunity to go other places, but for some reason he's staying in Detroit. Sean Dion Hamilton coming over in his 4th year. Anthony Pittman, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who's a good special teamer. And he does some decent work on the defensive side of the ball too. Jelani Tavai going to his 3rd year, and some good things about him. And Rashad Berry going into his 2nd year. Cornerbacks. Nikhil Roby-Coleman going to his 9th year. Corn Elder going to his 5th year. Mike Ford going to his 4th year. Jerry Jacobs, a rookie. Afetu Melifonwu, who's a rookie. Jeffrey Okuda, who's going to his 2nd year. Struggled as a rookie. And he also made some plays, but I think Jeff Okuda can definitely improve this year. Amani Oruwariye, who was pretty decent last year. I look for him to get better as well. Another one of my players that I'm going to be watching, him and Jeff Okuda. And then AJ Parker, who's a rookie. So you never know how these rookies and these 2nd-year players can pan out. And I hope they do pan out pretty well. At the safety position, you got Jalen Elliott, Will Harris going to his 3rd year. Is pretty solid safety. Elijah Holder going to his 2nd year. Dean Marlowe coming over from Buffalo. CJ Moore, who's going to his 3rd year. Bobby Price, and then Tracy Walker going to his 4th year. Randy Bullock going to his 10th year. And Zane Gonzalez providing some kind of competition. Jack Fox going to his 2nd year as punter. And that is your Detroit Lions. The first 5 games for this ball club this year, they're at home against the 49ers, at the Packers, against the Bears and the Vikings. They're at the Bears and they're at the Vikings. So I repeat, they're at home against San Francisco in the first game, at Green Bay, then they play Baltimore at home, at Chicago, and then at Minnesota, and that is 5 tough games right there for this ball club. Um, 5 tough games for Jared Goff coming out. Hopefully that line can hold up a little bit. Um, we'll definitely see how that goes. Um, for Detroit's rookies, I like to go over the rookies. Penei Sewell, who was selected in round 1 out of Oregon. Uh, Levi Onru Zariki, defensive tackle out of Washington. Aleem McNeil, defensive tackle out of NC State. Fetu Melifonwu, cornerback out of Syracuse, and there were some good things about him. With him, Jeff Okuda, Amani Owarie, that could be a nice little corner group up and coming. I'm not saying a no-fly zone, but kind of effective a little bit. As long as everything gels out right and they get the right coaching and everything. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the wide receiver out of USC. Derek Barnes, linebacker out of Purdue, selected in the 4th round. And then their round 7 pick was Jamar Jefferson, the running back out of Oregon State. Bottom line, do I see this team being competition worthy this year? Maybe not this year. They could sneak out some quality wins. Not saying that their offense sucks, because it doesn't, but their offense has potential. But I just really don't see them matching up well against some of the other defenses, especially the defenses that they see early in the year, like a San Francisco, like a Green Bay, like a Baltimore, Chicago, and even Minnesota. So I do see this team, when my power rankings do come out, they'll probably be at the bottom of the barrel. Basically, with their quarterback situation and that whole, I just really don't think this team is matured like that. But with a head coach like Dan Campbell coming in, and you saw him on his first press conference, it seemed like he means business, and hopefully that business means good business. So we'll see. They do have a preseason game against the Steelers this weekend, and we're gonna check and see how that works out. For GT365, that's Game Time 365 Sports, live here on the GTSN. That's the Game Time Sports Network. I'm Larry Patterson, and until then.